Hey, what's going on, guys? Back in the car again for another vlog. Well, actually, this is going to be a story time. I have incredibly poor luck, and I have another car problem that's hopefully getting fixed right now or fixed soon. So first off, it is a very hot day today. The temperature outside is 86, which some of you laugh at. 86, that's not hot, that's cool. Well, for me, it's hot. So I'm going to... Ooh, I see a deer over there with a little baby Bambi. Let's see if I can show you this. Let's see if anyone behind me. No. Are they too far for you guys to see? Yeah, someone's coming. Let me let them pass. Damn it! I want to share some beautiful nature with you. Oh well, I'm not gonna risk the safety of other drivers for that. So. Forget the deer. Alright, so, yeah. Oh, by the way, the reason I mentioned that it's hot out is because the windows are down. I'm not really an air conditioning person. If it's, like, brutal, yeah, I'll put on some AC and I'll enjoy it. But for the most part, I'd rather have hot air blowing in my face than cold air conditioning all trapped in. So hopefully you guys can hear me fine even with the windows down and the sunroof open. Alright, so to get into the meat and potatoes, let's talk about my problem. So I went to have my Monte Carlo, which you guys know has a long history of problems. Not the car so much as the people working on it. And my issue with the car is nothing was wrong with it except that I had the cracked exhaust manifold. Alright, the window's too much, I know. It's too windy. Eh, damn it. Alright, I'll suffer for a little bit so I can make this video. So it has a cracked exhaust manifold. Now what I could have done was replace it. It was just on one side, so I just need a passenger side exhaust manifold for an 87 Monte Carlo LS. But instead of doing that, I thought it was a good opportunity to do an upgrade and get a whole new exhaust system. What I really wanted to do was put some headers in there and have them drop down straight back. No cats, no mufflers, nothing. It's exempt. I know it's illegal for most people in most situations, but here in Pennsylvania, it's not because of Pennsylvania, but because I have, I have classic plates on it, which are going to get antique plates. It's exempt from any kind of inspection. Never needs to be inspected ever again. Never needs to have catalytic converters and mufflers and all that other junk. Now, even though I can make a vehicle loud like the truck, there are sound ordinances. I can get a ticket for being too loud or whatever, but thus far, the truck is extremely, extremely loud. And the cops don't care because I'm reasonable. I'm not ripping up and down the roads early in the morning. I don't drive it too much, It is a classic vehicle for me to restore. So anyway, so I wanted a different sound with the Monte. I wanted true dual exhaust all the way back, just straight pipe. So I didn't want to do it in Pennsylvania because I've had such poor luck. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go all the way back to New Jersey to get it done, because I never really had any problems with mechanics in New Jersey. There was one issue I had with my Pontiac Grand Prix. I had a 90 Pontiac Grand Prix, and I brought it to someone to get I think I was getting my transmission fluid flushed and replaced. Something with the transmission. I think it was like a fluid flush, training fluid. So the issue I had was that the guy had his 95-year-old father helping him in the shop, and he rotated my tires, which is something else I was getting done while I was there. I think it was an oil change, the training fluid, and a tire rotation. And when he put the tires back on, one tire had no frigging lug nuts on it, another tire had like 2. It was retarded. The whole thing was really, really bad. That was a whole different situation. But generally speaking, Jersey, everyone was better. The services overall, I'm not talking about just mechanics. All services, food services, healthcare, everything just seemed to be better when I lived in New Jersey. In Pennsylvania, generally speaking, there's always exceptions. There's wonderful people who live in Pennsylvania that work really hard and really earn their money. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about, in general, there seems to be a lack of caring about your job and a lack of punishment. There's just like, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no, not liability, not reliability. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking of. There's a word I'm looking for. Credibility. No, not credibility. Tip of my tongue. Now, because I'm trying to think of it so hard, I'm not going to think of it. If it comes to me, I'll mention it later. So, responsibility. Anyway, all right. I mean, that's part of it, responsibility, but it wasn't the word I was quite looking for. Maybe I'll put it down in the video if I remember. If not, who cares? So yeah, Pennsylvania kind of sucks in general for services. So I went to Jersey to get this done. I didn't go into the depths of Jersey, the heart of it. I just kind of went over the border a little bit, and I found a guy who had good ratings online, a shop that customizes exhaust and all that stuff, right? So he tells me, it's going to be roughly 5 hours. Thinking, oh, 5 hours, that's a long time to wait. Now, in my situation, I don't have another driver. My wife doesn't drive yet. She came from the city. She never needed to drive, so we're still working on her getting her license in Pennsylvania and stuff, so she can't drive, which would be optimal. She'd just follow me down in one car and leave the car and come get it later, but I don't have that option. And where I live, even though I have friends, everyone's busy, things are going on, so I'm stuck. So I had to go down there. I figure, you know what? All right, we'll just wait. So that's what we've been doing with all of our car stuff, is we go down there and we just friggin' wait. And I'm kind of impatient. I mean, I'm very patient in certain aspects of life. Waiting for car repairs, I'm very impatient. So it's also like anxious. I have a little anxiety of like, are they going to screw something up? I mean, what's it going to be like when it's done? So anyway, so I go all the way down to Jersey to get this thing done. Everything's going to be A-okay. The guy's really, really nice. I called him the day before because I gave him a week to get the parts he needs. The headers had to come in. The piping. I want a 3-inch pipe all the way back. He's got to get, hangers and stuff. And get a guy, like his welder had to be there that day and everything. So everything was all set up. I called him the day before. Totally cool. We're all ready for you, Jeff. All right, awesome. Feeling very confident. But it can't just go smoothly, right? That's not me. Nothing just goes smoothly. So I get there. This was yesterday. And I get there at, 6:45, like maybe 10 to 7 a.m. So I'm there about 7 o'clock a.m. The car, oh, yeah, nice, cool car. We're going to, do it up for you. It's awesome. Yada, yada, yada. So I don't want to sit there for 5 hours. So I'm like, you know what? Me and my wife are going to just walk. We're just going to walk around town, loiter places, shop with no money, that kind of fun stuff. Which, by the way, all day, I must have went into 30 different stores, didn't buy a damn thing. I felt so stupid. I'm not ever going to do that again, because everyone looks at you like, like you're shoplifting. You're walking in there, you're spending 25 minutes walking around, then you leave with nothing. It looks suspicious. I don't blame them for feeling like we're suspicious. I felt dirty. I didn't like that feeling of just being looked at like I got something, in my pocket. So, yeah, I didn't like that. But anyway, I thought, screw it. I mean, I'm not going to sit in the waiting room and, just sit there 5 hours. It's just, I can't. I feel like claustrophobic. I'm not claustrophobic in general, but certain situations like that, I'm like, I feel stuck. So I'm like, screw this, I'll walk. Plus, I thought, hey, good exercise, right? I must have walked 20 miles yesterday. Easily 20 miles. At a very slow pace, mind you, but I walked about 20 miles or so. Maybe more. So to make this kind of a shorter story, let's jump 5 hours down the road. I'm walking around for 5 hours. It's like trying to kill 5 hours walking around town randomly. Now I know what it feels to kind of be homeless, and I don't like that. I don't think I'd ever just be in the street homeless. Couldn't do it. Too impatient to be homeless, I suppose. I'd rather just be, busting my ass at work or something. That's a whole different point. So I go back 5 hours later. Hey, how's it going? Oh, we're doing okay. We got the headers are almost in. We're having an issue with the passenger size header. He said it doesn't quite fit. And by the way, these are hookers. Okay, like top of the line, friggin' hooker headers, because my car, I mean, everyone fixes up the SS's, There's not a whole lot of options for the 4.3 V6 87 Monte Carlo engine. Not a lot of people put headers and exhaust systems in them. They're mostly cruisers, old men car, low riders. They don't usually do a lot of performance to these cars, other than throwing 30 batteries in the back and putting on bags. So, yeah, hooker was one of two options. The other option was some random company, and they were like $1,000 for the pair because they were silver plated. No thank you. Don't want to spend that kind of money. I don't have that kind of car that justifies silver plated headers. You got the $50,000 collector's car and you're going to car shows every day. Yeah, maybe you spend a couple extra pennies on the silver plated frigging headers. Not me. but they don't have cheap headers, you know. Like when I got into this whole project, I thought, like, you know, I'm looking around and sets of headers could be as cheap as like 130 bucks all the way up to $400 or $500. But I didn't realize from the beginning that Hooker was basically my only option at like $600 for a set of, you know, the set of 2. So I'm like, damn. So first of all, more expensive than I thought. But you know what? What are you gonna do? You know, so I told him, yeah, let's go with that. So anyway, so walking around 5 hours, bored out of my mind, which I'm going to post another video. I don't know the order, but I did little clips of this and that while I was bored. Different random stuff, stupid stuff, I guess. But I was bored. So, car's getting fixed. 5 hours later, I'm there. All right, having an issue with this, but everything else is going smooth. Awesome. Starting to do the bending, the different pipe work, you know, for the rest of the exhausts. A-okay. I was most worried, honestly. My biggest concern with this whole situation was that the bolts were going to strip off. You know, bolt heads were going to just snap off or something, because the last time that the engine was pulled on and the exhaust system was kind of yanked back. You know, so I'm thinking like the manifold, the bolts that go into the manifold, into the block, were going to just like shear off, and that's going to be a problem. It's going to be hours of trying to, you know, get them out and stuff. Turns out that wasn't a problem. Those come out nice and easy because of your tips. Thank you. Someone gave me the tip to start lubricating those weeks before I even went for this thing. So I appreciate that, and that's exactly what I did. That's probably why they came out so smoothly. Every, I don't know, it was once a week for the first like 3 or 4 weeks. I just hit it with some ballastol, and then I did it every single day for like freaking 2 weeks before I went. So that was good. So anyway, so he's like, all right, everything's cool. He's like, well, you know, looking at what's going on, we have to tweak the header because it was hitting the rail. They moved my fuel lines over, which they had to anyway, because the heat from the exhaust shouldn't be, you know, it's not supposed to be a certain distance from the fuel lines, which makes sense. You don't want lots of heat next to fuel. So, you know, that's okay, whatever. But he's like, you know, it's hitting the frame. It's going to take a little longer, maybe, you know, 3 hours. I'm like, holy hell, I've been walking around for 5 hours. You want me to walk around for another 3 hours? All right, what am I going to do? But seriously, what are my options here? I can't just say, forget it. So, all right, another 3 hours. So that's what I did. I walked around another 3 hours. 3 hours, just trying to kill time, walking around town. Me and my wife, like a couple of bums. So I was getting exercise. Right? You gotta look at the positives here. Come back 3 hours later. Mind you, 8 hours I've been here so far. Not a thing has changed in 3 hours. Now, let me first say that these guys were very professional. They were very helpful. They were apologetic. They were trying to do, they literally did everything they could do. The set of headers came with instructions from Hooker for mechanics, or for anyone who's putting them on, that basically said that they're made for these vehicles, but it's a stretch of vehicles. It's like the Monte Carlos, the El Caminos. It's a bunch of different models, and of course there's all different, you know, configurations in the engine bay, you know, where the frame is and the frame rails and everything. And so he said that the instructions say that it will require, exact words, minor altercations. Okay, not altercations, modifications. Minor fights. When you install this, you're going to be bickering just a little bit. Totally wrong word. Yeah, minor modifications. So he called up the manufacturer and said, look, this thing's not fitting. They said, all right, well, heat up the bottom of the pipe and bend it. So they did that. Half hour later, whatever. Nope, not even close. Not even close. This thing, even if it was resting against the frame, which it can't, it's horrible for vibration and everything else, it wouldn't even fit in. You know what I mean? Even if they would have to literally jam it in and bend it up and totally ruin it to get it to fit in there. And this guy's professional enough where he's like, no, I'm not even gonna bother. I can't get in there. You know, we want to make this thing nice for this customer. He's paying a lot of money for it, and which I appreciate. Like I said, other mechanics, they may have jammed that crap right in there and just said, oh, good luck, you know. But no, not him. So that, like I said, I do appreciate quite a bit. So he's like, you know, it's gonna take a little longer. And he tells me, I'm like, listen, I have no ride home. And like, if I call someone, it's gonna be a couple hours before they can even get here. And it's an extreme inconvenience. He said, you know what? Don't worry about it one bit. I'm not gonna leave you stranded, okay? I get a rate at the Hertz or whatever. I'll get you a rental car. It's like 35 bucks a day, my special price for customers or whatever. You'll be fine. Yep, I took a wrong turn, and I am at a cul-de-sac, and I don't think I can start. What the hell happened? I'm talking, I'm not even paying attention. I'm not going off-roading, so we can't go through the woods here. Yeah, so anyway, so I'm like, he kind of eased my mind a little bit in that at least I'll have a ride home. I don't want to pay $35 a day for a rental. That's, you know, it's crazy. But the situation would call for it, so be it. So I go back out. Another hour passes, whatever the time is. At this point, it is now almost 7 p.m. Okay, he closed at 6, by the way. All right, so his shop's been closed, but he's been sitting there working overtime, trying to help me out. 7 o'clock p.m. Well, he's so flustered trying to get this done and fix this and solve this problem for me, because everything else is like a cakewalk. It's all very straightforward. It's just this one thing that's really, it's setting it back. It's just the passenger side header will not fit. So because of all this chaos, guess what he forgot to do? He forgot to call the rental place. So now it's like, listen, there's no way this is going to get done today. I'm going to have to get this. And at this point, he's thinking it's like a manufacturer's defect, because with major with major modification, yeah, I guess altercations, right? It's not a physical altercation, like it's being altered. I don't know. Anyway, at this point, he can't even get a rental car for me because they're all closed. So now this guy, and God bless him, man, he was really, really trying everything, and I thought he was gonna have a heart attack because he didn't know what to do. You know, he was very, very flustered. But you know what? At some point, he collected himself. He said, "Listen, you know, we're gonna take care of you. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna have my mechanic give you a ride home, so at least you can get home. All right." So yeah, his mechanic, who stayed late, you know, his young guy, who was extremely nice as well, very knowledgeable. He gave me and my wife a ride home, you know, an hour away. So, of course, I had a nice long conversation with him in the car. And what was actually pretty cool is that the truck, he helped me figure out a way to basically start the truck from the engine bay. So now I could start my truck with what's the most safe tool that I can use, a back scratcher. So maybe another video on that, how to start a truck with a back scratcher. I know, sounds nuts, but it worked. All right, I had a phone call, so I lost you there for a second, but I'm back. I think I left off with, I'm able to start a truck now with a back scratcher. Okay, so let's continue. I had a long discussion with him, and what basically is going to happen now is these were the set of long tube headers from Hooker. The only other option that's not $1,000 silver plated are the shorties. Now the shorties are more expensive. That's why I didn't want to go with them originally. But it turns out it's going to be better performance anyway. The short tube headers, from what I understand, are better performing at lower RPMs, whereas the long tube are better performing at higher RPMs and higher speeds. So, you know, the short tubes are better for daily driver anyway, so that's going to be great. So it's going to work out. He's going to get the shorties, and he'll put them in, and hopefully everything goes smooth from there. The long ones, it might not be a defect. It might just be poor manufacturer specs, and it just doesn't fit my car, even though it's supposed to. So, yeah, I mean, the whole thing is a mess. Essentially, I sat there for 13 hours. Well, didn't sit. I walked for 13 hours with my wife. I was dead by the time I got home. My legs were like numb. My feet felt like they fell off. It was crazy. Awesome exercise and everything, but very disappointed. What's different between now and other times that like bad things happen in the car is that these people, the shop itself was so good and so helpful. I realized that it wasn't their fault. I was a little angry, but I know what to be angry at other than Hooker, you know, the company, for saying it's going to fit and it doesn't. There's nothing I can do. So instead of upsetting my wife and upsetting myself, I just, you know, took the high road and just said, yeah, you know, shit happens. So here I sit, no money. I have to wait for the shorties to come in, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they work fine. It's going to take more work for the rest of the piping to get that to fit properly, but they said it's no problem. I am appreciative of them understanding. I had a quick conversation about, you know, because I asked him, he's like, well, you know, we can do the shorties, and I started investigating more about it. I'm like, all right, you know, that'll be fine. It's actually even better, but it's more expensive. I'm like, well, what's the price difference? He's like, look, you've been through enough. You know, you made you sit here for 12 hours, 13 hours. He's like, don't worry about it. So he'll eat the costs for the headers, which I'm appreciative of. But it's still more expensive than I was originally planning because they only make expensive options for my car, which sucks, but what are you gonna do? So I was all excited. Today is a beautiful, beautiful day. It would have been awesome to be driving it around, making videos for you guys, but looks like it's going to have to wait. I don't know how long. He's going to try to get the company to overnight him. I'm not in a huge rush, but of course he has other projects and other business to attend to as well, so I'm sure he's eager to get the project done. He insured me. He's been doing this 29 years, and nothing like this has ever happened. A company says that something's going to fit, it fits. If they have to tweak it slightly, it's no big deal, but this will not fit. I'm chalking it up to Smith luck. It's just my heritage, my crap luck. So, but I'm keeping it cool, because you know what, in the end, it's like, oh, my toy's broken. It's not an important thing in life. I didn't just have open bypass surgery. No one's sick in my family right now, knock on wood. It's a toy. It's a fun thing. So really, what the hell do I have to be upset about? So that's cool. I'm just gonna wait for it, and I have confidence it'll get done. Just sucks. Maybe I'm impatient. I'm supposed to gain patience as you get older. I'm kind of getting more impatient the older I get, but it's specific with car stuff, and I think it's specifically because I've had just such bum luck and turkey in the road. Let's see here. What are you gonna do, buddy? What are you gonna do? Damn Tom hanging out in the road again. I'll tell you. So yeah, when it's done, I'm happy. You guys will definitely hear a video. I already did my before video, so I'll do a before and after for the exhaust setup. And yeah, then when that's cleared out of the way, I can focus on the truck. And by the time I get the truck fixed, I'm sure I will need something for this car, because that's just how it goes in my family. We have horrible vehicle luck. So thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. What does that say? Jesus, like 23 minutes or something? Whew. Appreciate you watching. I will see you guys soon and let you know how the saga ends. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care.